There is a text going around, Nick and Dino, says Andrew Strauss wins the toss, says to Ponting, you can bat, and Ponting says, no, we can't.
That's very good. Hello, boys.
How are you, Dino? Well, what do you reckon?
Oh, well, firstly, news is Michael Clarke, excuse me, frog in the throat, has just retired from 2020 cricket, and I dare say Cameron White will be the new Australian 2020 captain.
Yeah, good choice.
So I think that's a good decision for Michael Clarke. Excuse me. And the second thing is that Ricky Ponting's got 2 screws and wire in his finger and will be ready in 3.5 weeks.
Oh, bit of breaking news.
Ah, that's interesting. Right, so that was...
I only bring the best stuff to you.
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
So there you go.
Yeah, breaking news, Dino. Now, listen, I watched that 2020 match the other night on television where Australia absolutely flogged, Western Australia?
Yeah.
Brad Hodge, I mean, you know, I said to Cecile, why isn't he in the team? Come on, Dean.
Well, I don't know. And if we're dead set serious, and we are serious now, because I think the penny's dropped, Australia, that we're struggling, and we need to have our best players playing, whether they're 35, 105 or 18. And he is the best player in one-day cricket and 2020 cricket by the length of the Flemington Strait. And the quicker they start to realise what we need now is a win. And can you imagine at the MCG, Brad Hodge playing, it'll be full as the fat lady socks. So, look, we need to make some serious changes. But we've got to be cool, calm, collected. But the bottom line is some of these guys aren't good enough, and we're starting to work that out. But we also need to have proper people to help us make the right decisions.
So that's it, Dino. I mean, the talk has been strip it right back, go through some pain, as football clubs often do, and see if we can rebuild. But you'd go the other way and see if we can, plaster over a couple of the cracks and put some of the best senior players around the country back in the side.
Oh, look, you need to have the right blend, Nick. The bottom line is you don't muck around. I don't see football teams trying to develop a kid in a grand final. We've got our grand final about to happen again, and it's called the World Cup.
Yeah.
So we need to have our best guys, and then we start to redevelop after that.
Dino, do you think there's a bit of snobbery involved here? That but I'm talking about Brad Hodge in particular here, that he's not being selected because he's a crash and bash merchant. And Test cricket, you've got to get out there and just, block.
Well, Johnny, in your time, and you've been around the next, look, I've never seen a selector apologise if we made the wrong decision. They're pretty unrepentant, and they'll keep doing the same thing. So, boys, while I say Brad Hodge should be in, he won't be, and he'd be out of the 30 guys that have been selected for the World Cup, he'd be in the first 10 to be dropped.
Gee. Well, just a couple for you, Dino. What the heads will have to roll here, whether coaching, selecting, or playing. Can you name us a couple that have probably come to the end of their tether?
Ooh,
the biggest problem we've got is that all of our great cricketers that we've had over the last, say, 25, 30 years are doing other things.
Yeah.
We've got all our state coaches and specialist coaches. The guys have never done it, never been there, done that, and never tasted it. Now, look, I'm generalising here. I understand that, but ultimately, you need to have played a little bit at this level to actually understand its pressures and what you're doing wrong. And ultimately, all our state cricketers that we've got coming through, our state coaches, are guys who have never done that. Now, if we look at now, we've got Lehman, Moody, Law, Michael Bevan, the list goes on, Jamie Siddons, they're all gone overseas.
Mm.
And we've just basically, in the real commercial world, if you've got wonderful directors that have been there and worked very well over the years, you keep to have them on independent contracts on the side, and you don't get rid of your IP. We're getting rid of all our IP, and all these guys are teaching all the tricks to the other countries, and they're beating us.
So, are you saying Tim Nielsen out and go after a Steve Waugh or a Mark Taylor or a Dean Jones to lead, or a Shane Warne to lead up the Australian side?
Well, in my article tomorrow, without giving too much away, if Steve Waugh wants $1 million to coach the team, pick it, give it to him.
Yeah.
But then the bottom line is, he can look at a Michael Clarke and said, "You're soft, son. I don't care how many players, how many runs you got, and all this. Getting out 5 times in the last over of a Test match is wrong. And suck it up, sunshine, grow a backbone, and let's get better."
Did we fall? Did we fall for the old 5-card trick with England, Dino? I mean, they just kept pounding away at the off stump, and we fell for it.
Oh, no, the bottom line is it's unrelenting pressure. They can bowl 6 balls into a shoebox out off stump, and our guys can't do that.
Yeah.
Now here's the point. That you talk about guys' techniques and all this. I know, for example, there are some kids, the 20-year-old bowlers, aren't allowed to bowl anymore than 3 overs at a night. Now, come on. They're all worried about them breaking down. Well, there's got to be a bowler first to break down. And now you've got to be actually put the hard words in. All the great players have put the work in and hit balls and bowl forever to get themselves fit, number one, and number two, to work on their actions to know what they can do and what they can't do. Now, at the moment, we're so worried about longevity and all that. Well, I don't want to be an average long player that's played an average over 10 years and been an average player. I'd rather be a great player over 4 years.
Just
for some reason, we're starting to think too much about computers and technology instead of some old buggers, if I can say that, start to talk about the 1%ers, the little things, about what it takes to win a cricket game.
they're great words, Dino, and I can hear that frustration in your voice. So just a final one from me. We're hearing a lot about the top order and the problems we've got there. What about the bowling? I mean, would you stick with Johnson to head up an attack despite bowling a heap of rubbish? I mean, does Peter Siddle do enough with the ball? Do we need to go back to square one with the attack?
Well, Peter Siddle start to give me some confidence that, number one, that he can bowl at this level.
Yep.
Number two, he has the ability to maybe become a half-decent all-rounder for us now. But he's got to do more with the ball. He's particularly reverse swing the ball. Mitchell Johnson, you can't trust him, but I think you've got to have him in the team because he does get you wickets, but he's only dangerous when he's bowling at 145 plus.
Horrocks?
Oh, yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. I mean,
what about Michael Beard, Dino? He was...
Let's do Horrocks first. Look, I think we might have to go back to him, but the selectors won't say, oh, gee, we got it wrong, we're going to go back to you.
No.
And Beer, look, you've got to give him a little bit more of a go. He's just sort of come into this mess, and it's not his fault that we're there. So let's cut him some slack.